Hello everybody and welcome to another video. In this video we're going to take a look at the recent actions by the United States Department of Justice through the DEA in the request of extradition of some Costa Rican citizens. And among those, very interestingly, is a very well-connected former magistrate of the Costa Rican Supreme Court, former Minister of Public Security, former Director of National Intelligence of Costa Rica, and now, according to the petition filed by the U.S. Embassy here in Costa Rica for his extradition, along with some other individuals, are the allegations that he has been working with the Colombian and Mexican cartels, assisting them in the transshipment of drugs from Colombia into Costa Rica through shipments into the United States and both Europe. So this action by the United States has taken, has basically caused a firestorm here internally in Costa Rica, because as it turns out, this individual is very, very well connected with the judicial system of Costa Rica, a lot of connections with politicians, going back many different administrations. He served as a Minister of Justice just about 8 years ago in another administration. So now everybody's trying to put together and tie all the loose ends together and say, well, who else is affected? How deep does this go? And so it's becoming the topic of gossip internally here in Costa Rica. And of course, we're glad to see that this action by the U.S. Department of Justice has been able to sort of light a fire here and start uncovering some of this corruption that's been going on and that everybody, knew about or suspected, but now it's being, brought to light. The flashlight's being shined, so it's going to be interesting. Just a little bit of a background on how this is has been taking place. And what happened was that under the Costa Rican Constitution, Costa Rican citizens could not be extradited. So if you wanted to extradite a Costa Rican citizen who committed a crime anywhere outside of Costa Rica, but they fled back to Costa Rica and were here, it was impossible to get them out of Costa Rica because the Costa Rican authorities would not turn them over. Now, about 2 months ago, the Costa Rican legislature modified a portion of that protection, and it lifted those protections for crimes related to narco crimes or terrorism. So for those two types of criminal offenses, the government of Costa Rica now will turn over Costa Rican citizens to whatever country requests them if they committed or they are alleged to have committed those two types of offenses. So here what happened was that the United States, using the Costa Rican U.S. extradition treaty, which has been in effect since 1982. So the treaty has been there. The U.S. could always extradite, except not extradite Costa Ricans. They could extradite anybody of any other nationality that was here, but not Costa Ricans. So that's what has changed. And now with this change, the first four requested have been the kingpin of what's called the Caribbean area of Costa Rica, another one operating in the Golfito area of Costa Rica, and then of course this high-profile one, the former Minister of Public Security of Costa Rica, and another one has been a Colombian kingpin, which was able to secure Costa Rican citizenship. So with Costa Rican citizenship, that was the cover that he had, and which prevented him from being extradited. So this is all changing fast. These cases are in the pipeline. These four individuals have been detained and they're currently in Costa Rican jails awaiting the extradition petitions to be processed. So a lot of going on, a lot of development, and let's dig a little deeper on how this affects Costa Rica and what's coming next. Now, it's long been known that Costa Rica was becoming or has become a very important transshipment point for drugs coming from Colombia, being shipped to Europe and the United States. And this is controlled by both the Mexican cartels and the Colombian cartels as well. And Costa Rica was becoming a huge transshipment point for these cartels. So in one of the conversations that was taped by the U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration in this extradition request file is a declaration from one of the informants that indicates that this former minister of Costa Rica who I mentioned before was a high-ranking, well, he was the Minister of Public Security at one time, was basically guaranteeing 100% to these cartels that he would be able to guarantee 100% that their product would be 100% safe in being shipped to Costa Rica. So imagine the gall of that kind of guarantee, and that's because they had basically become untouchable in Costa Rica. They were able to pay off many local government officials that would allow them to continue this practice, and it wasn't until this protection of not being extraditable was lifted that now they are facing consequences back in the United States. It's basically shining a light on the judicial power of Costa Rica, and I don't think it's going to be the last that we're going to hear. I think there's more in the pipeline that's coming. Now, it is the current administration of President Rodrigo Chavez who is the one that's actually been pursuing extensive cooperation with the United States government, sending the current Minister of Public Security over to the United States for a meeting. They're cooperating, they're exchanging information, they're assisting each other in fighting organizational or crimes such as drug trafficking and things like that. So it's actually this government that set kind of the tone of trying to weed all this out by extending a hand to the United States and saying, hey, come on down, what do you need? Let's work together, we need to eliminate this as well. And you can see now that as a result of all this cooperation, it's going to be a lot easier for Costa Rica to turn over to the United States any, even Costa Rican citizens, as I mentioned, that are involved in any type of drug activity and are wanted by the United States, such as this case here at hand. As always, thank you for watching the video, and if you have any questions or comments, let me know.